Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to talk about how to integrate Google Cloud Storage and BigQuery. So we're going to basically create a new project, upload a couple of files to Google Cloud Storage using both the console and the command line tool, and then create a dataset in BigQuery, create a couple of tables using partitions, and of course using the console and the command line tool. So let's jump right into it. So when you go to Google Cloud Console, so first of all you will need to create a project. I already have one. If you don't, go to the drop down button and then click new project, or it will depend on your language. I will select the one that I already have. Just make sure you pick a name that is unique enough to identify. Then I will recommend you to download the gcloud command line tool, because we are going to use it to create several stuff here, such as uploading files and creating a BigQuery table from a CSV that is already located in a cloud storage bucket. So depending on your operating system, you will have here the options. I have Mac OS, so just follow these steps, and then when you are done, and I will recommend you to add the gcloud to your path. That way when you go to your terminal, you can just gcloud and then type --help, and you will know that it's installed. Also a GCS util for all the Google storage commands, and BQ for the BigQuery commands. Okay, now let's go to the data. So I generate the data using Mocaru, when you can define your schema and the type of field that you have, and Mocaru will generate sample dataset for you using random data. If you need phone numbers, emails, first names, email addresses, genders, IP addresses, and so on and so forth. So I would recommend this tool. I will leave the links in the description for you. But I generate basically this schema for the first file, that is first name, then big, that is first name, then the last name, of course, is a last name. I already have it here. And then there is a column called registered at, that will be a date. Then you can pick the dates from and to that you want to have in this. Let's say I just want the last 2 years of data, and then I select the format. And then if I want header or not, I didn't pick header, then you can preview the data, and if that's what you're looking for, just download it. Okay, so I have generated those files here that are called users partition by date, because we are going to create a table partitioning by date, and another one where we are going to partition by ID. So let's just check with the head. What do we have here? So partition by date. So we have a CSV file with no headers, when we have the first name, the last name, and the registered at date. And for the other file, that is the partition by ID, again, no headers, and ID, that is just the row number, the first name, the last name, and the registered at. And you see that this one has another format. Maybe just generate a new file again with the format that we have here to have the same information. So let's go back to Mocaru. So this one is ID. Let's move it to the top. Let's say this one is a row number. We don't want headers. Let's preview the data in table format or row format. Let's download the data. let's move this file to here. So you just copy the file in downloads. That is called mock data. And just to copy that file here, I am going to give like the same name. So right now we have like the file with the format that we are looking for, and using Linux commands. Okay. So right now let's go back to our Google Cloud Console. Right now you already have the project. Then if you go to EM, you will have to check that you are the owner, you create the project, or at least that you have access to BigQuery and Google Cloud Storage as an admin, because that's the permission that you're gonna need to do what we're gonna do right now. So next, let's go and create the bucket in Google Cloud Storage. So if we go back to this menu, then to Google Cloud Storage, then as you see, I have here a bucket already. Let's create another one for the YouTube channel. So the bucket needs to be unique, and we'll give you a couple of examples. So let's say YouTube files CSV. That would be my name. I think the description is enough for me. Let's continue. Then pick a type of location. If you want multi-region, dual region, or just region, it will depend if you need like availability or low latency. I will select region to continue. Then the type of storage, I will select standard because I need to access these files regularly. Then if you need now to define how do you want to control the access to the files, or if you need to give access to the entire bucket, or maybe you need the granularity to pick which files do you want to share to the public and which not. I prefer that one, so let's pick this one. Let's continue, and then you want a control version, and click create. So after that, we have like these two buckets, like the Medium article CSV and the YouTube file CSV. And we can use like the command line tool to list those buckets. As you see, you can use gsutil ls, and here we will see those two buckets. And if we want to go and check the files in just the bucket, again gsutil ls and then the name of the bucket. And as you know, we don't have anything yet, but that's our next step. But first, let's go to APIs and enable this API that is called BigQuery Connection API. I already have it enabled, but if you don't, just type it in here in the search bar. So BigQuery Connection API. Then you go here and just wait a little bit and then just enable. As I already have it enabled, I have like this mark here, as you can see. And now go back to our bucket. So let's upload this file, okay? We're going to upload one file using the console, just for you to be familiar with the platform. And then we are going to use the terminal. So let's click upload archives or files, then we just pick our location, or what you can do is open your file explorer or Finder in my case. Go to the folder where you have the data and just drag and drop. That will work. You see, you can access this file because it doesn't have access to the public, but I can go to these three buttons and then click edit access, and I can create like this new permission when I say to the public, all users as readers, and that way you can copy this URL and share it with anyone that have access, that wants to have access to the file. I will share this URL in the description as well. So let's use now the terminal to upload the file. So we can use util. So we already upload, and we can use the terminal to see which files we already have in the bucket. And as you can see, we already have the users partition by date file. So, and we also have the partition by ID to upload. So we can use the cp command. Then we need to specify which file we are going to upload. So we can use the users partition by ID. I have this auto-completion tool in my terminal that helped me a lot. By ID, and then just specify the bucket URI, and then just type enter, and then scoping the file is done. And if we execute this command again to list the files in the YouTube bucket, you see there the two files are in there. And if we go back here and just refresh, we will see both files there. I will do the same with this file to give you access and share the URL in the description. It's public, all users as reader, and then I will copy and paste the URL for you in the description. Okay, now we have the files, and we want to use like these files to create tables in BigQuery. Okay, now of course let's go to BigQuery. If you have a dataset already, just use that dataset. I'm going to create a new one just to practice with you. So let's create a dataset. Give like a proper name. Let's say this is, for me, would be like YouTube dataset. The location of the files, let's say US. Just underscores, YouTube underscore dataset. Then create the dataset. So okay, we're going to create like those tables because right now we don't have any table there. So let's go to these three dots in here, create table. Let's say we're going to create a table from Google Cloud Storage. We can explore, then select the bucket, and then which file are we going to use to create the table. So first I'm going to use like the table that we're going to partition by ID. Select. Just that's the format of the file. CSV is okay. There are another formats as well. Then let's say we're going to name the table like users by ID. Then we can pick that is, I'm going to add the files. Let's say this one is an ID, it's an integer. Then we have the first name, that is a string, the last name, that is a string, and the registered at, that is a date. Okay, you can pick here if you want like that field as required or nullable. We are just going to leave all of them as nullable. Then we want to partition by ID. Let's say we want to begin at 1 and 1000, or let's say 1 million, because we are going to have like a lot of users, right? And partition this table by, let's say, I don't know, 100,000 users. That's okay, you can play with the intervals later. Then let's create a table. So now the table is there, you can see it here, and you can go to preview of the results, and here you have. Also you can open like a new editor to like start writing some SQL, and then you can do like select anything from, so this is users by ID. BigQuery is gonna help you with the syntax to put like the data set at the table, and let's say let's do a limit 10. And here you have the results. I won't recommend you to use like this select from the table, because it would consume you like CPU, and it's better just to go to the table and preview results. But now you know, like you can play here, and let's say we can use the word classes, and let's say with the ID is equal to 56. And here you have that the user with ID 56 is that gay, registered in March the 2nd, 2021. Okay, now let's do the same, but using the terminal and with the other file that we're going to use, that is for the table partitioned by date. Okay, so in the terminal, now let's check again like which files do we have in YouTube files, and we can use the VQ tool that will be there when you install the gcloud tools. So we can use the BT load. As you can see, you have here like a lot of help. Then you can pick the auto detect, to check like the data types. Then we need to specify like the source format, that is CSV in uppercase. Then remember that let's open a new terminal here just to check like which columns do we have there. So just going back to the folder where I have everything here. So we have first name, last name, and date. That is the registered at column. So that will be like, we're going to do a partition by the registered at column, and the type will be by date. Because we can do partition by month or like year, there are more types, we are going to use date. And remember to use the backslash just to help you with the syntax. Then we need to specify like which is the data set, and remember like our data set is this one, YouTube data set, and then the name of the table. So this one is going to be named like users by date, because the other one is called users by ID. Then we will need to specify the location of the file that we want to create the table from. So, and it's this one. So backslash to continue in the other line. And then just the format of the files, of the column, sorry, where you can follows like the syntax, like the field and the type, comma, field, colon, and type. So the first name is a string, the last name is a string, and the register add is a date. And when we hit enter, it should create a table for us in BigQuery in that dataset that we select. And as you see, it's waiting on that job. It's running. It will take a couple of seconds. We can start like clicking refresh here just to check. It's done after 24 seconds, not too much. And when we go back to BigQuery and go to our dataset, so this is our project, then go to our dataset, that is YouTube dataset, we will see both tables here. As you can see, the data types of each field. You go to the preview and you will see like the columns. The file was uploaded properly, and this way it's like will be better for you to optimize the query if you're going to use the date or ID to query your table. So now you can just start like creating some questions, try to use like the date using the users by date table or the ID in the word class when you're using the users by ID. I hope you have learned a lot. Stay tuned.